Hey, welcome to Connection Over Coffee with me, Phil McAuliffe, the Loneliness Guy. In this episode, we're going to have a chat about how we can make 2021 your year of authentic connection. But before we get into that, I need to say that this podcast is all about destigmatizing loneliness and promoting authentic connection for gay men globally. It contains content relating to the physical, emotional, and mental well-being of gay men. If that's going to offend you or anyone in earshot, now's the time to move on. But with all of that said, how about you go and get us a table? I'll go get us a couple of coffees, and I'll be with you in just a moment. Here you go. If this is the first time that you and I have connected over coffee, welcome. It's wonderful to have you here. And I need to say that I'm incredibly proud of you and grateful that you're here. I realize that very few people, very few gay men want to engage on social media or on the internet with issues relating to loneliness. And it takes great courage to simply sit and consider that you may be, as a gay man, experiencing some loneliness. I understand the stigma that comes with it, and because of that, I want to say how proud I am of you for simply pressing play, be you listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube. Either way, I'm really grateful that you're here. I'm so happy that you're here because you've picked a great episode to listen to. If you're a return friend with whom I've had coffee before, welcome back. It's great to have you here. And let's have a chat about how we can make 2021 your year of authentic connection in this, the 20th episode of Connection Over Coffee with the Loneliness Guy. I want to make this a pretty snappy chat, so it's probably a good thing if I ordered you an espresso just now. I want to start this conversation by saying that, look, loneliness, when we see loneliness being talked about on social media, in the media, generally it's not about loneliness. It is about the need for connection. And if it is about loneliness, loneliness is almost the exclusive domain of old people or people in our community who are vulnerable, who are indeed in 2021 keenly feeling the absence of other people in their life. Now, loneliness doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care if you're rich, if you're poor. It doesn't care if you are alone, a singular entity with physically no one around you, and it doesn't care if you are actually surrounded by people. We can feel lonely when we don't feel seen, when we don't feel heard, and when we don't feel that we belong. And we can all feel that. Indeed, we humans, gay men included, all feel lonely from time to time. And my work in 2020 through 19 blog posts and episodes of Connection Over Coffee indeed focused on drawing awareness to loneliness, normalizing through destigmatizing loneliness, normalizing it as a human emotion that we all feel, akin to happiness, joy, disappointment, sadness, grief. It's a human emotion that we all must experience if we are to be fully human. And the content over 2020 was all about drawing, as I said, that awareness to loneliness, normalizing loneliness, and letting you know as a gay man that those uncomfortable, awful thoughts and feelings that you may indeed have been ignoring for a period of time, indeed sometimes many years, as it was in my case. And the uncomfortable, the void, the questions of what is this it, all can be symptoms of loneliness, but we tend to think of loneliness as the absence of other people around us. And as I said, my content in 2020 was all about raising awareness and letting you know that if you have been thinking and feeling, if you have been asking big questions of yourself, why do I feel like I don't, like that nobody knows me? Why do I feel like I don't know me? Those big questions, that you're not alone in asking those, and to say, hi, I'm Phil, I'm here to help. I've been where you are. I still am where you are from time to time, but I know a way forward. And so that's what we're going to be doing. That's what is going to be my focus throughout 2021, because I'm making 2021 your year, my year, our year of authentic connection. And the antidote to loneliness is connection. I add that the antidote to loneliness is authentic connection, along what I call the 3 pillars of connection. Now, this is represented in my awesome logo, which my partner Jeff designed for me, and he's extremely clever. And it is 3 pillars holding, cradling a cube in the middle, and that cube is you. And those 3 pillars are that we all need for connection are connection to self, your real self, our real selves, connection to those most important to us, and connection to community. And that's going to be the cornerstone, the bedrock, the pillars, dare I say, of our year of authentic connection, because we are going to be setting intentions for how we want to do connection, not wish for connection, not hope for connection, not think about connection, but indeed how we want to do connection, because in 2021, because only by doing connection, by being brave, by being courageous, by embracing our humanity and being vulnerable and putting our real authentic selves out there, indeed working out who our real authentic self is, can we get that kind of genuine, soul-nourishing connection that we need as humans, including, perhaps especially, as gay men. So my invitation to you for 2021, right now, and this is January 2021 that I'm releasing this podcast, and it relates to a blog post that I published on my site, thelonelinessguy.com/blog, about 2021. Your year of authentic connection, which I published on the 7th of January. So if you're listening and it's January, you're listening to this soon after it's been released, or indeed it's October 2021, it's never too late to join, because the connection that you need doesn't need to start on the 1st of January on any given year. The connection that you need, the process of getting to that connection that you need, can start right the hell now, by you making a conscious decision to do authentic connection, to become authentically connected to who you are, to become authentically connected to not who you think you should be, not authentically connected to who you think other people expect you to be, but who you are. That if that doesn't make you a bit nervous, if that doesn't sort of make you go, ooh, then you're not doing it right. You're not doing it right. Because that first pillar of connection, that authentic connection to yourself, is so tremendously important. If the connection according to the other two pillars, connection to those most important to us and connection to our communities, is to have any kind of value to us. Because if we're not connecting with others, if we're not connecting to our communities as who we are, the connection sooner or later will feel hollow. We will again lapse into loneliness because we've tried to be someone who we think others expect us to be rather than to be authentically who we are. Now, I hope that that's inspiring you, because it is the only way that I know to get the authentic connection, and it's the way that I have used, do use, and intend to continue to use to make sure that I'm getting the authentic connection that I need as me, as Phil McAuliffe, living my life. How do we do that? How do we do that? Well, it was in the blog post, but if you haven't read the blog post, I'm going to go just say this really quickly. I need you to spend some time right now, or very soon after listening to this episode, sitting down with an old-fashioned pen and old-fashioned paper. Not your phone because you're going to be distracted. And use a pen, use a pencil, your choice. Use a quill and ink, I don't really mind, but we're going to write it down, because writing it down helps us really process it. We like, our conscious and our subconscious mind can work better when we write it down. And what we're going to be writing down is how we want to feel in terms of our connection by the 31st of December 2021, by New Year's Eve. And in the blog post, I say this, that we need to get really specific. I need you to imagine how you feel, what you smell around you. You could talk about how you want to smell. That's completely up to you. This is going to be these are your intentions after all. What you've eaten, what you're wearing, who is with you. I need you to get really specific, because with that level of specificity, we're going to be reverse engineering that through the year. So by reverse engineering that, what we're going to be doing is setting targets for how we want to feel connected to ourselves, how we want to feel connected to those most important to us, and how we want to feel connected to our community. However you just do to define each of those terms under those three pillars is entirely, I'll leave to you. But what we're going to be doing is reverse engineering it and setting targets. And by setting targets, I mean setting intentions. And we are going to be setting weekly intentions. And by that, it's spending time every Sunday looking ahead to the week and setting intentions about how we are going to connect according to how we are going to do connection according to those three pillars of connection. Then the following Sunday, we review the previous week to see how we went without judgment, but we're going to be holding ourselves to account in a kind and honest, non-judgmental, we're not going to shame ourselves. We're just going to be honest with ourselves and go, yay, I met it. I actually exceeded my intentions. Yay me. Or actually, I didn't quite get there. I need to focus on that again. Because then, after we do that exercise, we'll be setting intentions for that week coming up. Now, these intentions need to be really specific as well. It's not, I need to, be nice to people. No. Of course you need to be nice to people. Don't get me wrong. Don't go around being an absolute bastard to people. But What you need to do is to say, I want to say hello and do a kind act for the neighbors in my building. I don't know them, but I'm going to do a kind act, and that kind act is going to be this, and I will do it by Thursday, for instance. And that kind act might be a note on the door saying, hi, I'm whatever your name is. In my case, I'm Phil. I live in number blah. I just thought I'd say hello, and please feel free to reach out to me if you need anything. But it's weird that we don't know each other, so I'm saying hello. And then watch what happens. Watch what happens. The connective power of, or the power of connecting with those people around you, and by setting those intentions, by holding you to account, yourself to account, by it then helps get you towards that end of year goal. So the end of year goal, if we just left it at that, is sort of very nebulous, amorphous. It's very sort of ill-defined. You can see it, but not really. Breaking it down week by week by week by week by week, writing it down somewhere is the only way I know to help me do connection. It's the only way that I know that helps make me make the changes I want to make in my life, by being very intentional. Feel free to send me an email, get in touch with me on social media if you've got any questions about that. I'm more than happy to answer any and all questions, because this is something that we're going to be coming back to throughout 2021. Indeed, I'm going to be spending some time in March. I'm going to be spending some time in June. I'm going to be spending some time in September, and I'm going to be spending some time in December. So the smart people amongst you will realize that was every quarter of 2021. And we're going to be checking in. I'm going to be asking you how you're going with it, and what have you learned? What were you surprised about? What didn't you do? And then we're going to be digging into that. But it's important to me that we do this together, because I want 2021 to continue to be a year where I stay authentically connected to me. I stay authentically connected to those most important to me, and I stay authentically connected, or I become more authentically connected to my community. Now, for me, next week, I'm moving back to Australia. I'm going to be moving to Canberra, and I have not lived in Canberra for almost 6 years. And so moving back to Canberra is like moving back to a new place. It's familiar, but things have changed. People have changed, and I will need to reconnect with my community. So I'm going to be doing this with you. You can choose to do it by yourself. But my invitation to you, is there's two things that I invite you to do. You could do it by yourself, but you're completely missing the point. The first invitation is to do it with a friend, to enlist the help and support of a friend. Tell them about this episode, tell them about the blog post, tell them about my work, tell them about how awesome it is, because there's no other words to describe it, right? But the other thing that you might want to do is to accept this invitation. This is a standing invitation. And that invitation is to join the community, the small community of other gay men just like you, who have accepted the gift of loneliness, who are then working to authentically connect with themselves, authentically connect with those most important to them, and authentically connect to their communities. We're doing it together. We're doing it together. And let me tell you from my own experience, having done group coaching and now leading group coaching with my friend, coach, and mentor, Mike Campbell, with his Everyday Legends Academy that I work with him on. There is amazing power in community, because we then learn that we're not alone. We're not alone in the words, in those words, thoughts, and actions, those fears, those hopes, those desires that we think is unique to ourselves. Of course, they're unique to ourselves, but we're not the only person to ever feel those emotions or think those thoughts. And there's power in knowing that. There's power in a community of kind, helpful, supportive men who respond with empathy, who are there to help you just as much as you are there to help them. And so that's the community that I'm building in the Loneliness Guy, and it's available to you should you wish to join us and become a premium member of the Loneliness Guy. And there's details on thelonelinessguy.com. There's a big banner saying join the community. And there's also going to be a link in this episode description on this podcast or on YouTube. And I'd love for you to join us for a small monthly fee for 10 Australian dollars a month. After the first month, which is free, you can join and be part of that community where with other gay men who are simply working out how to give themselves and give the world around them themselves. I can't emphasize enough that power of community in helping you as it helped me, and I've seen it countless times in my work with Mike, to really be a powerful support structure, a structure of support and accountability to help you get to that point of authentic connection that you deserve. Also, beyond that group, I've got some great people in my corner who I've partnered with to help you through their coaching services. So with Mike Campbell and his Everyday Legends Academy, and Mike's been on the podcast talking about the courage that it takes to make changes. And then there's Michael Diorio, my friend Michael Diorio in Toronto from Wellismo Coaching, who has been on the podcast numerous times and written blogs, and he's got a coaching program which is for everyone, but a speciality is gay men, about helping you work out who you are. And I'm really proud to have to partner with him. There's Callum Brecken, who does work on shame and getting to the bottom of your sources of shame and then turning your shame into your superpower. And there's Sophia Coquerez, who hosts weekly Tea Time Tuesdays, an online circle, which is tremendously powerful. I love the idea, and I love Sophia's work. And for 90 minutes for free, you can have a cup of tea and have a great, meaningful chat. You can connect with other people all through your computer. Anyway, that's enough from me in this episode. There's plenty in there. There's plenty of this to come in 2021. I'm really excited for 2021, where we can move beyond the thoughts and feelings of loneliness and getting acquainted with our loneliness and move towards that authentic connection that we need, that you need, and I continue to need. I look forward to many other coffees with you over 2021. And if you've got a question for me, please send me an email, connect at thelonelinessguy.com. Join the community. Please join the community. You don't have to do this alone. And indeed, the beauty of loneliness is that it is your body's way, it's your mind's way, it's your soul's way of telling you need to get authentic connection in your life. Let's do that together, eh? If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a high rating through the service on which you're now listening, or through which you're now listening. And if you got something from it, please tell a friend. That's great. That helps me out greatly. If there's something that you think that I could improve, let me know by sending me an email or reaching out to me on social media. I'm always wanting to learn to make sure that I'm continue to provide a great service for you and are helpful and supportive. But be awesome, please. Stay safe, stay well, and let's get authentically connected in 2021. I'll speak to you next time.